Now, one more thing you may know something about here in Wisconsin, and that is that in a government-centered society, the government bureaucrats have to make sure that they're taking care of the people who provide money to them, and that's the unions, who put hundreds of millions of dollars every year into the campaigns of their favorite politicians, not any one of which is in this room, I'm afraid. And I actually believe that in an opportunity society, that people should have the opportunity to join a union if they'd like to. And at the same time, I don't believe they should be forced to join a union through card check or any other kind of vehicle. And I sure don't believe that unions should have the power to take money out of people's wages so that the union boss can give those dollars to the politician of his or her choice. That's got to stop. What the president's doing is fundamentally trying to transform America into something we wouldn't recognize, something more European. And Europe doesn't work in Europe. Sure as heck isn't going to work here. The right course for America is to restore the principles that made America the powerhouse of the world. And those principles were laid out by the founders, I think, quite eloquently. Whether brilliant or inspired, in my view, both, they wrote in the Declaration of Independence that our rights came not from the state nor the king, but from the Creator. And that among them were life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. In this nation, that last phrase, by the way, the pursuit of happiness. This means that in this nation, we are free to pursue our own course. Government does not tell us, in a government-centered society kind of idea, how to live our lives or what businesses to grow and which ones to invest in, like Solyndra. Someone said the other day, government now wants to pick the winners and losers. Another fellow said, no, they just want to pick the losers. The right course for America is to allow free individuals to make their own choices, to succeed or fail. In a society with freedom, where people can pursue happiness, there will be success and failure, and we'll celebrate the success and welcome it. We won't denigrate it. At the same time, we'll recognize that government's role is not to guarantee everybody's success, but government's role is to guarantee everyone the opportunity for success. Its responsibility. And by the way, as individuals achieve success, some beyond their dreams, beyond imagining, we're not unhappy about that. It doesn't make us poorer. It makes us better off. We celebrate that as a nation. Now, I know that we face some real challenges. And I've been across the country talking to people in boardrooms and break rooms and in student union halls and in classrooms and talk to the American people. And it's fair to say that people have not given up on themselves, have not given up on each other, have certainly not given up on America, but a lot of them have given up on this president for good reason. And they know that we have a sacred duty to restore to America the promise of America. The conviction that if you're willing to work hard, get an education, you have the right kind of values, you're willing to take a risk, that you can strike out and achieve for greatness. That's always been the story here in America, of that American promise. This time, we've got to take back America, and we've got to get it right. We've got to make sure that we never again apologize for success in America, and we never again apologize for America abroad. My confidence in America, my conviction that the future is brighter than the past, flows from the people I've seen across this country. Not just during the campaign, but also, as Vicki said, during the Olympic experience and in my business experience. I've met the Americans that make up this great nation, and it brings me a greater degree of confidence in the future. I remember during the Olympics, one of my great experiences was seeing the Vice President of the United States. Vice President Cheney came into the president's box at closing ceremonies. He asked me to pick one athlete to come sit with him to represent all the athletes, and I picked Derek Parra. Derek's about 5'4", Hispanic American, born in Los Angeles. He's a rollerblader. His friend said, if you want to get an Olympic medal someday, you better take up another sport. So he tried ice skating, and he was fast. He was fast enough that he competed for a place on the U.S. speed skating team, and he beat a bunch of guys from Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota. I mean, this guy from Los Angeles, how does this happen? And he came out to Salt Lake, skated his heart out, got a silver medal in the 5,000 meters, and then a gold medal in the 1,500 meters. Fastest man in the world on ice. Absolutely amazing. So I invited him to sit with the vice president. And as he came into the box, I said, Derek, what was the most meaningful experience in your Olympics? It wasn't the silver, and it wasn't the gold. He said it was being honored to carry in the American flag that had flown above the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. You may remember back to those Olympic Games that this was only 5 months or so after 9/11 that we had our opening ceremonies, and that flag is about 8 feet by 12 feet, and it's badly torn and burned, so it can't be put up a flagpole. It has to be carried horizontally, and Derek was one of 8 athletes chosen to do that. He said when the flag was announced, they expected the audience to burst into cheers, but instead, total silence, complete reverence. And he said, so we took the flag and we marched it across the field and stopped in front of the choir, and they began singing the national anthem. And he said, Mitt, it was hard to hold on to my emotions while I was holding that flag. And they were singing those words. And then he said the choir did something he hadn't expected. Now, I knew it was coming. I was the guy running the Olympics. I chose the version of the national anthem they were singing. And the version they sang was written in 1930s or arranged in 1930s by someone named Robert Shaw. And in this version, you sing the last stanza as a reprise a second time. This time with greater orchestration, the sopranos go up an octave. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And he said, Mitt, as they sang it this second time, a gust of wind blew in the flag and lifted it in our hands. And it was as if everyone who had ever passed away that had fought and died for American freedom and liberty had blown into that flag. And he said the tears began running down my face. And as he told me that story, the tears began to fill in my eyes. It is always a great gift to remember that we have something no one else in the world has. We're American. It is a recognition that there is something very special about this land. Each of us sees the land perhaps and the greatness of America in some different ways, but we all recognize it's special. The whole world has known that for a long time. Some question it today. I want to make sure we bring back that conviction to every man, woman, and child here and around the world that this nation is exceptional. I ask you to join me. Join me in bringing back that greatness here and abroad. We can do it. We will do it because we have confidence in ourselves. We have confidence in the future. We have confidence in America. After all, we're Americans. God bless this great land and this great people. Thank you so much.
Tell them if I don't survive,